with a great deal of pleasure that I get to introduce Pran. Uh, Pran Hyseni is a pretty phenomenal person. She got interested in astronomy about 20 years ago when she was a young girl. And if you remember anything about history, Kosovo was in the middle of a pretty brutal civil war. She followed her dream, and she's currently a Ph.D. student in planetary sciences at UC Santa Cruz. But she spent an awful lot of her energy as well trying to help others in her home country to become educated and get exposed to astronomy. She's had a dream from the very beginning of bringing a world-class observatory and astronomy education facility to Kosovo. And the grand opening happened just a few weeks ago. And it was a pretty amazing event. Pran founded the Astronomy Outreach of Kosovo in 2015. AOK is a non-governmental, nonprofit organization dedicated to research, public outreach, and political advocacy for projects related to astronomy, planetary science, and space exploration in Kosovo. AOK worked with the Ministry of Education, Science, and Technology in Kosovo to bring lectures to public schools across this country, and the ultimate goal of securing enough resources to build the first observatory and planetarium in Kosovo was realized, as I said, what was, I think, the 21st of June or so. It was just a few weeks ago. So with that, I would like to turn it over to Pran, who will tell us how this all came about. So Pran, if you'd like to share your screen. And
thank you very
all
much.
yours.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I am very happy to be here. Let me just share my screen. Well, thank you everybody for being here. Thank you, Steve and Don and everyone at the Houston Astronomical Society. I see that there are a lot of attendees in this meeting that are not part of the HAS, but they are here because they wanted to hear the story. This is my first presentation that I'm doing since the grand opening of the National Observatory and Planetarium of Kosovo. I've had a very busy month last month, and I just returned back to the United States last weekend. And to be truly honest, I have not yet gone through all the content and pictures and everything what happened last month. It's been super busy trying to make sure everything is running smoothly, getting ready for the grand opening, inviting, and having all the international guests over. And there are just so many great things that have happened that I'm still spending this entire week just being home and processing all of that, while at the same time I'm trying to catch up with school and everything. I'm also very happy that I'm delivering this talk for the first time to the Houston Astronomical Society, part of which are some very important people, Steve and Amelia Goldberg, Larry Mitchell, Keith Hammonds, a lot of people that were the first individuals that hosted me when I landed in the United States. Houston was actually the first city I ever landed. I came to the Texas Star Party where I had the chance to meet a lot of you in person. So I'm happy to share this milestone for the first time with your group. And so everybody has heard of this observatory. So before I go there, for everybody that has not heard of me, I'm just a PhD student. My research at University of California focuses in understanding the composition of minor planets, asteroids, meteorites, comets, and linking all of that together through spectroscopy. But that's not what I'm here to talk today. I want to talk about a dream that I've been talking about since forever, since I landed foot in this country and since I literally started to do astronomy, and I founded AOK and all of that. So to everyone, that is not familiar with Kosovo. I know a lot of you would know where Kosovo is, but also I encounter a lot of people that don't know. So just to give you a reminder, that's our country. It's a very tiny, young country in Eastern Europe, in the Balkan Peninsula. It's very small, and we have a very small population as well, like under 2 million people. And the advantage of living in a small country is that it's easy to just go out there and do science and public outreach because you can basically reach out the entire country. And this was something that I took advantage of in 2015 when I founded the Astronomy Outreach of Kosovo, which the goal was to start doing something that had not been happening in our country before. So basically, Kosovo was destroyed 25 years ago from the war. Everybody was living miserable. Everybody was trying to start fresh in all kinds of fields. We were trying to rebuild our country in all the sectors, in economy, medicine, everything else. But science was still not very good, and it's not good yet, especially astronomy. It did not even exist. Like, you could not buy a telescope and all of that. So I started with a very tiny telescope with a 3-inch reflector, and I was doing all these activities online, and then that's how I got recognized through social media. And then people like Stephen Ramsden and the Charlie Bates Solar Astronomy Project and people from Australia, from Europe, they started recognizing these activities, and they were supplying us with equipment that we did not have access in Kosovo. So during a short period of time, we had all these telescopes together, and we were doing activities all over Kosovo. And this is like a 10-year milestone because we'll celebrate the 10-year anniversary this upcoming January. And we have done a lot. When I look back on that, we have done so many activities. We have gone to schools. We have worked with the government, with institutions, with universities. We have represented Kosovo all over the world. We have made our country known in astronomy all over the world with activities that we had to do. We did like every single day with our team. It was just a group of enthusiastic students who wanted science and loved astronomy so much and just wanted to share that with other people. That was our goal, to let people know what astronomy is about, how important is it to know, to give them the experience of looking into telescopes, until one day everything we had just crashed and we lost it all. Unfortunately, earlier this year, my team was involved in a car accident where all the equipment we had from Celestron, Skywatcher USA, from Stephen Ramsden and Charlie Bates Solar Astronomy Project just crashed. 10 years of equipment that we had collected for so long. And it was a major setback for us. It was very heartbreaking when I got the news and I was here in the United States. But at the same time, our team was involved in this big project that I had been talking about in every single presentation I gave all over the world. I've been to so many states here. I have talked at NEEP, I've talked at Alcon, I've talked all over the United States about how we wanted to build an observatory and a planetarium in our country. And as difficult as it seemed, because building something like that was huge, was something that our country had never had before. And uh, building an observatory, yes, I've been to so many of them, and you also have. But when it comes to building it and making sure that everything it's designed correctly, and what we need, and what telescopes we will use, and what the planetarium is going to look like, that's not what I am an expert of, and neither is my team. But we had so many connections with so many international astronomers across the world, and we talked to some of them. We talked to Stephen Ramsden, we talked to Hab Griffin, to Jack Dunn, to Celestron, to everybody, getting ideas how we would be able to construct that. And we came with a simple idea. What we wanted was an observatory dome, a planetarium, and also some areas where we could use our staff could use, like a telescope control room, like a kitchenette, and then areas where we could use for exhibitions and all of that. So it was not just an observatory, it was more like a science center. It was something that our country never had before. And this was a goal. This was something we started back in 2016. And it took a lot of years to be able to make this happen. So this was the observatory floor plan. It's a lot of numbers, not interesting. But then we talked to a team of architects in Kosovo who also never had seen an observatory, never stepped foot in an observatory. We explained them what we wanted. We showed them pictures. We also acted like a bridge between the international experts and our architects in Kosovo. We were transporting information to them as to what we need, and they were able to put this in a piece of paper and make this computerized so that we could have a nice, detailed construction floor plan for our building. And then the main issue was, where do we get the funds? So the architects and the engineer estimated that the total cost for this construction would be around 310,000 euros. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money for Kosovo. So our team was like, okay, maybe we could try to do a GoFundMe. And we started that. And we were only able to reach like $10,000 from international astronomers mostly, but it was a dead end. It was something that we were not being able to get. So the only way was like, okay, maybe we should ask the government for funds. And we did. So in 2019, we proposed an amendment to the Parliament of Kosovo through a deputy, and the Parliament liked the idea of having a science center in Kosovo, an observatory, something grand, something that would make such a huge impact in inspiring the young generation of students and citizens of Kosovo towards astronomy. And I remember sitting with my team for 16 hours straight in 2019, watching the Parliament of Kosovo as they were about to vote. It was when they vote the budget for the entire country, for the entire year, where it's gonna be profilised. And then we got our project approved. It was almost midnight when they voted, and we got, I forget how many votes because I can't see my screen now, but yeah, 68 votes. And then somebody abstained. I don't know why, but it was incredible news. Like, the Parliament of Kosovo decided to allocate funds to build the science center. This was really, really a milestone for us. But even though the funds were approved from the parliament, how the government system works in Kosovo, usually the money goes from the government, from the parliament, into the particular ministries. In our case, they went to the Ministry of Education, Science, and Technology, and then they would be building the observatory. However, at that time, we had a political party that was not probably doing a lot of good job, and also there was a lot of bureaucracy. As you can imagine, working with politicians, it's hard, and the project was stuck for the next 3 years, and to the point where I almost thought this was never going to happen. We would never see those money. This would never be built. I even organized protests with my team in front of the Ministry of Education building. We put this all over the media because this was the only power we had against our government to make this observatory happen. And it also felt really depressing because I was going all over the world. I was telling everybody that, hey, the parliament has approved the funds. We're making the observatory. We're building this. We're doing that. And then people were not seeing anything happening. And that was very frustrating. I felt like I had this huge responsibility and I was letting everybody down. I was letting down my team. I was letting down my country. I was letting down everybody who had been supporting me for so many years and believing in me. And it felt very depressing that this thing was not happening until 2022. In December of that year, I was here in the United States already. I moved here for school. As much as I love Kosovo, I wish I had been there to see when we did the first stepping stone of the observatory, but it almost seemed unreal. A new government came in, new minister of education. That's the lady in the jacket there. She was also the deputy who had put our proposal through to the parliament back in the day. And then later on, she became the minister of education and then decided to proceed with this project that had been stagnated for so many years. And I loved seeing these images, although I was not there to attend in person, just seeing my team and everybody be so happy. And then I kept following the progress of the observatory being built. And this was in February. January that year, we did not do any work because it's so cold in Kosovo, it's snowing, so the construction did not go through. But this was the construction in February where we had just the foundation. And you can see the circles as they're trying to like get shape and all of that. And then this was in March of last year. This was my first visit to the construction site. I was in Europe that time, and I made a trip to Kosovo only for 3 days exclusively to just oversee the construction and what was going on. In the bottom right, there is the observatory pier. We were told by international experts to make sure that the pier it's not touching the base of the building and also the upper floor so that we don't get vibrations. There were a lot of details that we didn't know. So we were told about it and we made sure to oversee the project because sometimes even the people, the construction workers who were working there, they were doing mistakes. So we would have to kind of come in and let them know that it should be this way and not that way. So it was quite the journey to build this all. And then this is how the both the domes are constructed of concrete. So there is no bricks. Everything is made of concrete in the both domes. And then this is as the building it's getting to the second floor. You're seeing there the dome of the planetarium. So the dome of the planetarium is also constructed of concrete. A lot of people have asked me that. We did not have any other option. We could not buy a planetarium dome to project in it like usually very famous planetariums do in rich countries. So we had to build our own, and then we were told to make sure that the inside of the planetarium dome is very smooth and it has a particular color, gray, not really bright. So all of these details we had to make sure we were transforming to the construction crew. And then this was in June of last year. So we started in December all the way through June. The construction was moving very fast, very rapidly. I was here in the United States all the time, keeping updated from my team, being in touch, how everything was going. I was unable to go there every single time because of school here. I could not take time off to go over there. But then I went there in August of last year, I believe. This was when the dome came in. And this was a challenge because building a dome in Kosovo, that was like the main scare for me because everybody knows here how complicated a dome can be. And I understand a lot of people build roll off roofs, but personally, I wanted a dome because I wanted the National Observatory of Kosovo to be iconic. And we tried to make this happen. So it's a dome and it's with the shutter doors. And this was when they installed the skeleton of the dome. This is just an animation. It was in July. I was at Nebraska Star Party when this was happening, and it was nice to see the dome in compare with people because I was not there. I was afraid if the shutters were not very wide and if the telescope could see through, and a lot of concerns that I had, and I was thinking about if all the information had been processed properly and all of that. And then this is another video where people were just so the dome was not motorized yet at that time. So it was just people were pushing it after everything was put together. That's when they motorized it. So this is another picture, and it melted my heart seeing these pictures, and I was not there. I was just seeing this dome and then seeing my country around it. It's just like it's happening in Kosovo, and I cannot explain the excitement I was getting when I was seeing these pictures. It was just incredible. That's another close-up shot of the skeleton of the dome. And then I went there in August. This was my second trip after it was built together. There was still a lot of things going on. You can see a lot of dust, a lot of unleft construction. And then at that time, we were discussing it about when is the grand opening gonna be? Like, are we gonna make it in spring? Is it gonna be next summer? We were trying to schedule all of that because we wanted to make sure that we inform everybody in time and we make solid plans as for the grand opening, although there was still yet a lot of stuff to do here. This is just pictures of construction workers. On the top right, there is the planetarium as they were layering out with like coloring it, painting it. Yeah. So it was interesting because you go in this building that you had visioned in your head, and then you walk in and it's actually there. It's not complete yet, but it's really incredible to do that. And then these are later on pictures after the completion of the dome, and then we were doing the yard, the landscape, and then some of the furniture had come in. This was in October of last year. And then everybody asked about the equipment. So we have all this nice building, very beautiful with two domes, but what's gonna go in there? What telescopes we will be using? So back in 2018, when I attended the Northeast Astronomy Forum, NEAF in New York, I was a speaker there, invited by Celestron. And I gave a talk and I talked about the observatory as usual. This was a dream. This was something I really believed that we can make happen. And I shared this with everybody at NEAF, including Celestron. And right away after my presentation, the CEO of Celestron, Corey Lee, came up to me and said, if you guys build this observatory, we will guarantee you a C14 Edge HD and a CGLX mount with all the accessories that go in it. And this telescope was promised in 2018 for the observatory. We just had to wait so long until we had the funds and then make sure that this is actually being built. And then this was the picture of this year from NEAF with Team Celestron, because Team Celestron also guaranteed and promised that when you guys build the observatory, not only we will bring the telescope and all the extra accessories, but we will also send a delegation of experts from our team to install the telescope, to train your staff how to use the telescope, because this is equipment we had never used before. So of course we needed all the help we can need. So Celestron sent Robert Reeves, Kevin Kawai, the marketing specialist. Robert Reeves from Texas, you all know him. He's my hero. And then Ben Hawk, the VP of sales for North America. They all came in person to Kosovo to install the telescope and trained our staff. And then Stephen Ramsden, the person who had believed in me and helped me and AOK for a decade, also promised us an incredible solar telescope. So Stephen Ramsden runs the Charlie Bates Solar Astronomy Project that has 27 chapters around the world, one of them being AOK. And Stephen donated this large telescope that, to show you how big it is, I just decided to lay across and just show you how large this equipment is. It's a hydrogen alpha telescope 152. Also, Stephen donated 5,000 solar glasses that were custom designed with our observatory and our flag, and also donated $1,000 for the grand opening ceremony, which was very, very much appreciated. And I can't speak enough how much Stephen Ramsden has done for our team. In other words, if it wasn't for Stephen and Charlie Bates donors, we would not be able to run as a nonprofit in Kosovo. We would not have any of these equipment that we use for 10 years. And we cannot be grateful enough to Stephen how much he's done. So thank you, Stephen. I know he's probably here in this chat. And then I forgot to mention, because this large telescope, it's so large, I was thinking it's gonna be smaller and we can put this on top of the C14 in the pier, but that's not the case because the telescope is so big, we needed a new mount. And then Skywatcher USA came in and they said, you know what, we will donate you 2 mounts, and R8 and R6, these are both equatorial mounts, and we are using these with some other Skywatcher telescopes that they sent to us for like solar viewing, because we wanted to make sure the the observatory will be operational also during the day, not just during the night with the C14. And then the planetarium, which was also a very complicated issue, because I have been to so many planetariums, but I had no idea how much a planetarium projector costs. So you all seen the fancy planetarium using the Zeiss planetarium, I mean projectors in the middle, and all of those can cost hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's almost impossible to get something like that, at least with the funds that we had available. So Jack Dunn, he has been very, very helpful with the planetarium, not only showing us how to make sure that we build it and we make sure how high the wall is and what colors the planetarium should be painted, but also told us about like what chairs, gave us all the shows, and also donated the projector, the mirror, all the system that we can actually use in the planetarium to play shows. And then Hap Griffin, my dear friend from South Carolina, donated an advanced sound system that we also installed in the planetarium. So our planetarium is now functional. We have several shows that we're playing for visitors, and this could not have been possible without the help of Jack Dunn and Hap Griffin. It's been really, really incredible how so many people have come together to help us get through this and make sure this actually is a success. And then of this year on June 9th, last month, I only had 10 days before the grand opening. I could not take off more time because that was the end of the quarter. I am involved with a PhD program here, and it's very difficult to leave my research aside. But I made sure that we fly to Kosovo like at least 10 days before the grand opening. We had originally scheduled to have the grand opening ceremony on June 20th because we had sort of completed our building, but it was really not completed. It was an empty building. We had still no equipment installed, no posters, no exhibitions, nothing. And I went in Kosovo with 8 different suitcases. I took 6 with me, and then another 2 I gave to somebody else to bring after me because there were so many donations that was sent to my house here in California from people across the world. They were sending inflatable solar system planets, rocket models, planetary models, everything that we could actually have interactive exhibitions in our science center. And it was a hell of a job trying to pack all of that. And I was under so much stress making sure that I finished the lab work and I finished all my work here while at the same time packing up and preparing to leave for Kosovo and knowing that I only had 9 days until the grand opening day. And it was very, very, very stressful. And then these are just some of the pictures that our team has been involved. So everybody knows about Pran. Everybody knows Pran did this, Pran did this. It's not Pran. It's a whole group of people that do an amazing job and have been working so hard to make this project happen. The board of AOK and all the members, they worked tirelessly during 10 days of that week. We were not going home. We were not seeing our families. We were just working really hard to make sure that everything runs smoothly, everything is installed, all these Lego models that took like hours and hours of putting together and like painting walls and everything. We had to do it ourselves. And then you can just see my dark circles. I was basically destroyed with no sleep. We were just working all the time. I had not seen my family for over a year, and then I did not even go home. I slept the first night I arrived in Kosovo, and then afterwards we just snoozed at the observatory. We would crashing in sofas, and then we would just spend all the time there, like eating and snoozing and not really sleeping, and then just making sure we prepared everything together. And then these are just more pictures. This is just as everything is coming together in place. We were inflating the planets that were donated to us, all the planets of the solar system. And then these are my 2 sisters in the bottom right. They were ironing the flags for the grand opening. And then my entire family members came in and everybody was giving it a deep clean of the science center because everybody was being involved, everybody's families, everybody's friends, all the members. We were all together, everybody was doing something. We were doing things that we were not supposed to do, like installing stuff. I was painting walls I've never painted in my entire life. I was doing things that I never was I've never done. Like, my team was installing the bathroom toilet paper holders and things that were not there, and we wanted to make sure everything is there before June 19th, because that was the grand opening day. And then we were installing the lights. We got so many donations from people across the world, as I mentioned. And with me in my luggage, I had everything. I brought everything to Kosovo. So many red lights, solar red lights that you don't just find in Kosovo stores. So I made an Amazon wish list, and I was very impressed how so many people came together and purchased everything so I could take everything back to Kosovo. And then we were installing all these lights around the building. And we also installed lights in the dome. So many people that had donated. I would love to thank everybody who had made even a small donation, because it made a huge difference for us. And this is just a picture showing our team. Like, we were snoozing, we were sleeping, we were exhausted. Like, I had never been more sleepless in my entire life than that time. And also, we were making this grand opening with the government of Kosovo, and usually they know how to frustrate you here and there sometimes, and like all these phone calls and all, making sure all the people are together, and making sure the telescopes are arriving in time, and the international team is arriving in time, and nobody's going through any obstacles. And it was just so much work, and I don't even know how I put through with last month. It's been incredible experience, very tiring, but very, very rewarding. And this was Team Celestron arrival in Kosovo. I know Keith will laugh at that, because there is also Keith Hammonds. Keith was also in Kosovo. I was very grateful. So from the international team, Stephen Ramsden came to Kosovo. Team Celestron sent 3 people to Kosovo, and then we had some aerospace engineers that work for NASA, for Northrop Grumman. I had professors from the University of California that attended the grand opening. My own PhD advisor, she came over to Kosovo, and it was a great honor. We had Diana from Sky and Telescope that came over to attend and also covered the story for the Sky and Telescope. And we had a great team from Italy and Switzerland, Rodri, and everybody from, like, we had somebody from Turkey. We had so many international people that I did not even expect we would have so many people just coming there, attending and celebrating with us in that grand opening day. And also, as the Team Celestron arrived, we also received the equipment from Celestron and Skywatcher USA that had been promised back in 2018 that I showed you earlier. All of this came with a truck and in our observatory yard, and we just dumped everything out and we started opening. And we were all pointing at the C14 there. That's the huge telescope, and you can just see my face. I was extremely, extremely excited, like opening everything with my team, just realizing that this is inside our facility. It was amazing to just open each box and finding something that you did not even expect that Celestron would send. Like, they equip us with like the latest star sense, and so many eyepieces and filters and things that I can't even count, like a whole list of things that Celestron made sure to send. And also Skywatcher USA sending an extra amount that we did not even expect, and also telescopes and so many things. And also the solar telescope came with a shipment from Stephen, because I was unable to carry that on my flight. It was too heavy, as you saw it. And then it was the process of installing the telescope. We had what, 3 days, 2 days before the grand opening, and we were all very stressed. We were probably not behaving like ourselves, because everybody was under so much pressure and stress, and everybody was trying to work something. As you can see, even kids were involved. Everybody was involved trying to put something together. This is Team Celestron, Robert Reeves and Kevin Kawai and Ben Hawk putting the telescope together, along with our peer Orhan Sopa. He's our team member. He's the telescope operator now in Kosovo, and he did a remarkable job making sure that everything was working smoothly, and making sure that Celestron doesn't run into issues with like poking the holes in the pier and putting the pier plate, which was generously donated from Arizona, and so many things. And then we did it. We installed the telescope, and this was actually our first picture together as a group, and it was incredible. Like back in the day, I remember I made a Photoshop picture. I put a picture of our observatory, and then I took a C14, I cropped it, and I put it on the pier to just have an idea how it would look like. And it looked exactly like this. I could not wait to become night and be able to see it. And then that night, I believe we had, it was not even night yet because the moon was close to full, so it was rising much earlier. And then Robert Reeves called me upstairs because I was running all over the place, and he called me like, Pran, you need to look at this. And that's when I had the first light in the telescope, and it was a very profound feeling looking through the telescope, like all that hard work, just taking a moment to enjoy the moon. And like, I've seen the moon many times, but it was a different experience. It was like when you look through a telescope for the very first time. And I did not put a picture of the first light, but I put a picture of this dome. This is just a time lapse of our dome rotating. When Celestron team was there, we ran into some issues. Our dome was not operating correctly. I was disappointed. I was very disappointed because I felt like I failed. Like all these people put together like so much work just for the dome not to work, and that's what I was scared the entire time. Manufacturing a dome in Kosovo was gonna run into issues and it's not gonna work, and that's what happened. So I was very frustrated because during the grand opening the dome was not working. We were pushing it by hand. Our team was pushing it by hand, and it's a very heavy dome because it's made of metal. It's two sheets of metal, and the entire group felt like we were really, really depressed about that. But then after Celestron left, and after the grand opening ceremony, my team and I and the construction company were able to give it a second look as to what's going on, and we figured it out. And then we now have an operational dome, and that's the video which was made after the grand opening because, ooh, that was a scare. And then this is our planetarium. It's a planetarium of 9 meters in diameter, and it can seat around 50 people in there. And we have some incredible shows, and when you close the doors and you turn off the lights, it's really, really nice in there. I am actually quite impressed how we came up with a planetarium and how well it's working, because I was afraid the resolution it's not gonna be good or something would be off, but it actually looks really amazing. And the greatest feeling about it is when you are behind this laptop, which you're at the end of the planetarium, and you turn off the lights and you play a show, and there is a classroom sitting in it, and then all the kids go screaming and yelling because they have never seen something like that before. It's a very, very profound experience, and I was very happy to be able to do that a few times after the grand opening when kids and schools started to show up. And then one evening, actually, I was just by myself at the observatory, and I decided to go sit in the planetarium, just spend a moment to myself to just appreciate it. And I can't I can't describe enough what a peaceful feeling is it to just sit in there and watch a show. It's really, really nice, and it makes me cry when I sit in there and watch something so amazing. And then the grand opening day. So this was our ceremony. We decided to do the ceremony outside in the yard of the observatory due to the large number of people attending. Unfortunately, it was almost 40 degrees Celsius. It was very hot, and our public was sitting outside. It was 4 p.m., and everybody's speech was kind of in a hurry because it was way too hot. And then we had the Minister of Education, we had the mayor of the town where this observatory is being built, we had Team Celestron, we had Stephen Ramsden, we had a lot of people who attended but also gave talks. Stephen Ramsden also, during his talk, that's when he donated $1,000, and that was really, really great to like share with everybody. And then Team Celestron, unfortunately, the CEO of Celestron was unable to attend himself, but Kevin Kawai made sure that he delivers a video message to us, and that video message was it was very much appreciated. Just Corey sharing the story of how we met in 2018 and how Celestron has been so supportive of this journey. and I'm very, very much thankful to everybody involved. And then it was after the talks, it was the moment when we cut the ribbon. In fact, I don't know if these are pictures that anybody has seen yet, because I have not posted anything yet. It's been such a hectic month that I'm still going through content, videos, pictures that I have not even seen. So many media have covered this event already in Kosovo, and I am just still processing through what's all happened, because it seems almost unreal. And then we cut the ribbon. I had the honor of cutting the ribbon with the Minister of Education, the lady in the middle, and then the mayor of town, the gentleman with the glasses hanging, Stephen Ramsden, and also a representative from Celestron, Kevin Lagore, to my left. And then the CEO of AOK, Milan Rashidi, we all had the pleasure of cutting the ribbon, and it was incredible because that's the first time everybody was walking in after everything was put together. And I, if I told anybody that 3 days ago that place was almost empty, and then in 3 days we were able to put everything together, the posters, the exhibitions, the telescopes, the equipment, everything came in place together. And then this is just another angle shot from the ribbon cutting ceremony. It was incredible. And I remember that day, even in the morning, we were working so hard, and then we were still drilling holes in the wall where the people already started coming for the ceremony. And I had like 10 minutes to get ready and just get on stage and give a talk. And I hadn't even thought of what I'm going to talk about, what I'm going to say. It just all came together so spontaneous. And in fact, I'm just happy it came like that, because usually when you prepare for something so hard, you don't just sound so original, but it came from the heart. Everything we said, everything we've done, it came from the heart. And then this is the first tour that we were giving to the government of Kosovo, the Minister of Education. We were going through the lobby. We gave them a planetarium show, a very short introductory planetarium show, maybe 3 minutes. And then the conference hall, the observatory, and then we also moved into the terrace where Stephen Ramsden had said the gigantic solar telescope, and we were looking at the sun, and it was great. It was a lot to process. It just I felt like I was so hyped up and had done so much during those 10 days that sometimes I feel like I did not get a moment to enjoy this entire process, like just having the joy of watching the telescope being installed. But I missed a lot of it because I was elsewhere doing something else, and my team was elsewhere doing something else. So we missed a lot of these moments. But otherwise, I'm very, very grateful for everything and how everything has gone. And then this is just another picture of Stephen Ramsden amazing everybody with this gigantic telescope. And then we had some other Skywatcher USA telescopes that we had installed in our terrace. We have a great terrace. And then the day two after the grand opening, we had more activities going on. We had invited the public to come and listen to talks from astronomers. We had Robert Reeves, the lunar expert. We had Stephen Ramsden, a solar expert. I had my PhD advisor who specializes in meteorites and asteroids, and she also came over. We had Raja Guhathakurta from the Department of Astrophysics, who gave a wonderful talk on cosmology. And then we had the team from Italy and Switzerland giving a talk. And in fact, it was Rodri that amazed us a lot, because Rodri gave a special talk. It was not about science. It was about appreciating the work through some video messages that he had secured from these important people. And then all of a sudden he would play on the screen Charlie Duke, the moonwalker, sending congratulations to AOK for the grand opening. And then Brian May from the Queen's group, the astrophysicist, sending congratulations, like people that you would not even imagine of, like just popping up on the screen. And it was almost unreal. I was on tears. It was incredible. And then that wrapped up the event. We also were very honored to get the presidential award from the Astronomical League, from Carol Eorg, which I would like to thank very much for the grand opening. And then during the grand opening, while the telescope was being installed and all of that, the team of internationals, Team Celestron, Stephen Ramsden, and everybody who came to support us was being invited and honored from our government. This is a meeting that Team Celestron, Stephen Ramsden, and everybody else had with the uh, what is this? How should I put this in English? Like the president of the parliament assembly of Kosovo invited everybody in the meeting. I was unable to go to that meeting because this was on the grand opening day and it was like 3 hours until the grand opening ceremony. We were making sure everything is ready and we installed everything because we were still working. And then I missed this meeting, but it was great to see these pictures. And I was very happy that our government was honoring our international guest who had done so much to make sure that our planetarium is functionalized. Otherwise, without Celestron, Skywatcher USA, and Stephen Ramsden, and everybody else that supported us, that building would be just bricks. It would not be an observatory. And then I also had the pleasure 2 days after the grand opening to just sit back and relax. My family had done a traditional Albanian dinner, hosting the board of AOK and all the members who worked so hard, and also the international guests. And this is my home. This is where I grew up. This is the backyard where I would put my telescope and would look at the sky and the planets, and with a tiny telescope, and would dream so big, would dare to dream about having an observatory someday, would dare to dream about exploring and discovering and inspiring other people. This is the yard. This is where everything started. And it felt really incredible to be able to host everybody in my yard where everything started, and then get my family to know everyone and just have a slow down moment from all the hard work we had gone through in the grand opening ceremony. Just take a moment to be together, to talk, because I was missing out on spending time with Team Celestron, spending time with Steven, with my PhD advisor, with everybody. Like, I did not have time to spend with everyone. So this was a great opportunity to just be together and celebrate the grand opening together. And then these are pictures after the grand opening. The schools, the public, visitors kept just rushing the Science Center. We have a conference room where we usually give talks. This is how the Science Center looks like behind the kids there, with all the lights, with all the posters, with all the exhibitions. This is the terrace where the kids go and observe the sun during the day. And then during the night, we have the telescope open, the C14. You can already see the kids in the line. And like, this is probably the most amazing moment to see. Like, you have accomplished something so great, but then you see what the impact is of this observatory. You see everybody walking through those doors being so amazed, so surprised with something that happened in Kosovo that they had never seen and experienced before, and being able to share all of that with visitors. I just wish I had more time in Kosovo to experience more of that, but I had to leave and I had to come back last weekend, and I can't wait for the next opportunity when I get there. These are just some videos of I'm just gonna mute them, but these are just videos playing some of the equipment, and I believe this is the planetarium. You can hear the kids maybe yelling and screaming. It's great. I love the planetarium. I love the shows. I just love the entire center. It's not perfect. We're still working on it. There are still a lot of things that have not been finished. A lot of posters, a lot of exhibitions, a lot of things. This is just the beginning, but we're working in it, and we will make sure that everything will be set together as better as as good as it can be. And we will be working with international folks to make sure that every time we bring something new in our science center. And then for the end, I hope I did not get too long. I know I was limited in time, but I just wanted to give a sincere appreciation and acknowledgement to the government of Kosovo, to the Ministry of Education, and also the local government of the Shtime city. But also, I would love to give the sincerest appreciation to Team Celestron, who, since the very beginning, when they heard of this project, they believed in us. They promised us the equipment and they kept their word. They sent the equipment more than they had promised. They just donated a second C-14, which is currently in the airport of Pristina International Airport in Kosovo. And they have donated so much. They have helped me as Pran to go in conferences and to go places and speak and represent our country. And I'm just amazed with Team Celestron, what a profound company they are, what a great team of people they are, not just a business, but they're some company who wants to support science and education and astronomy worldwide. And that's what makes them so great. And also Skywatcher USA, who sent additional equipment that we were not even aware about. And also Stephen Ramsden and Charlie Bates Solar Astronomy Project that I mentioned so many times, that has done so much for AOK, not only for the grand opening, but for the entire decade. And also Arizona for donating the Pier Mount, and all these list of people that you're seeing here. But not just them, we have hundreds and hundreds of international and also national folks that have been donating either financially or just helping us in whatever way they can to put this together. So I want everybody to know that this significant project put together that you just saw, this incredible observatory, was not just Astronomy Outreach of Kosovo, but it was put together because of so many great people that came together and decided to do something great for our country. And I will be forever thankful for that. And I did not have anything else. Yes, for the end, I would just like to share that it is our honor to have named the observatory after Celestron. So now this is known as Celestron Observatory, and Planetarium is named after Jack Dunn, who has done so much for the planetarium. And without him, we would not be able to have the planetarium or make it operational. And then the observing terrace of the solar observing, which we use every day with our kids, it's named after Stephen Ramsden. And I'm so glad to be able to share that with all of you. So for the end, I just wanted to share this picture in 2015 or 16, I can't remember. I put together this drawing. I was coming back from Australia on an air flight, and I had been in Australia and met all these folks and these observatories, and it was great to see everybody having an observatory in their backyard. And I had dreams to have an observatory of our own in Kosovo, and I made this drawing, and then right next to it, it's something that we actually accomplished. We made this drawing real, and we made it better with a better telescope, with a much larger telescope, and I'm so happy for that. So thank you everyone for your patience. Thank you for listening. If anybody has any questions, I have not been looking at the chat, but just feel free to jump in and ask. Thanks again.
Thank you very much, Pran. I have to start out by saying it's pretty clear to myself, anybody that's watching, why you were successful. I mean, yes, it took a huge team, but you have the energy, you have the vision to inspire a large team, and wow, it just comes across. I can't tell you how excited I am to have heard you firsthand. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We actually don't have a lot of questions in the. We have a lot of comments, and I'm certainly open to having folks come off of mute, and if you'd like to make a comment or tell Pran what you think, I think that would be appropriate.
Pran, my name is Bill Spazzeri. You are a role model for anyone who wants to get a project like this done. Not only, as I mentioned in the chat, is your project fantastic, but your presentation is the second best wonderful thing. Well, I've been watching astronomy presentations for over 40 years. This was terrific, amazing. Thank you very much for telling us about it too.
It was my pleasure, and I would also just like to thank all of you who are here in this meeting. as I mentioned earlier, Steve and Amelia Goldberg, and I can't see a lot of people, but I know a lot of people that had been supporting me since day one that I came to the United States. I'd like to thank you all, and also everybody else who's watching. I don't know if this is being live streamed, but for people who helped me personally, helped Pran, hosted me in their homes, and believed in me, because that made a huge impact, not just in Pran, but also Kosovo, because therefore I was supporting AOK from here. I was making connections. And then AOK was doing amazing things in Kosovo and then making Kosovo great. So all of your help has been incredible, and I will always be grateful to all of you for the support.
I'd like to say hi, Pran. Bob Runyon from Nebraska Star Party. You were one of the initial speakers at one of our presentations. It was so amazing. I loved it all the way. And the only thing that you really didn't mention is you dealt through COVID and that travel and all your experience there. Followed you all the way through. Such an inspiration. Love you, girl. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. And to be honest, this presentation, I don't know, I just took pictures and I put them in slides and tried to tell the story as it was. But yes, there are so many things that maybe I did not mention. Maybe I forgot people to thank, which I apologize. And then I forgot maybe to show important pictures. But you know, you will probably see me. I will keep posting and talking about and covering all the events as they were on the next following weeks. And I apologize if I have not been responding to emails and phone calls and all of that, but it's been very, very busy. And I'm just back recovering from all that.
Can I chime in here? Pran, I remember when you flew into Houston the first time and we met you at the airport.
Yes.
And we drove you out to TSP. And I remember your presentation. I remember seeing the picture in the town square of hundreds of people around the 2 or 3 telescopes. And I was thinking, she's going to go somewhere with all this. And this is where you went. And this is fantastic. What you did in such a short period of time with your resources and everybody chipping in, Celestron, Skywatcher, everybody else, you did a great job. That is great.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you very much. And as I took off for the United States last Saturday, I sat on the airplane, and as the airplane was taking off, I felt this huge weight that had been lifted off of me. Like, I don't think I had realized how much this project that was being stagnant and not happening was affecting me emotionally. Like, I did not realize that until after everything happened, and I felt so complete. I felt like something has been done, and then I did not feel the stress and the emotional sadness that I had been keeping inside and had been pushing my heart, and it was very heavy. But then it felt very peaceful as I was leaving my country, because I was leaving something behind, something very important, and I was leaving with a victory, and I felt it, and it was incredible, and I'm still feeling that.
Will it be okay to put this presentation on YouTube, perhaps?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah,
Pranvera,
that was a plan, Bill. Yeah.
Pranvera, you know I can't let you go by without a comment. And this is Stephen Ramsden, the director of the Charlie Bates Solar Astronomy Project.
Hey.
The teamwork that I saw between Kevin and Keith and James and everyone there, along with your team, was absolutely incredible. All my time in the military, air traffic control, and running this nonprofit for 15 years, I've never seen a group of people come together and accomplish something so well, so rapidly. And everybody's nerves were frayed there, but everybody got the job done. Nobody bitched and moaned and went home. Every single time, the last time I was in Kosovo, at every event we went to around the country, every single member of your club showed up and worked their butts off every single time. These American astronomy clubs can learn a lot from you. And I want you to know, I love you. I am proud of you like my own daughter, and you are the greatest accomplishment from our nonprofit. And thank you, Houston Astronomical Society, for having the foresight for putting this person on for this presentation. This is the best astronomy lecture I've ever seen, and I've been watching a lot of them. So thank you very much, and congratulations on your success and Kosovo's success.
Thank you, Stephen. That means a lot. Thank you.
and I'll say that there's no way I can top what Stephen said. So I'll just say congratulations. And that picture on the right there, that kind of says it all. And by the way, note that you had clear skies for a brand new telescope. That doesn't happen. That proves it's special.
I had prayed. I had prayed back in April when we had the total eclipse. Everybody had the really bad skies. I was like, I will take the bad sky for the eclipse, and I'll not take it for the grand opening. So I was so happy it was a clear sky, and we were able to observe. The week after, it rained the entire week, so we were very lucky with that.
Anybody else to make a comment?
Just thanks for the invite. I'm sure glad that I attended. It's awesome.
It is, and I'm sure we'll get a lot more attention on YouTube as well. Unfortunately, not everybody from Houston who would be here has power, and I think that kind of been an issue. But we just felt like we needed to go forward with this presentation tonight, and thank you all for the support that you gave Pran, and thank you, Pran, for sharing your story with us. It's very inspiring and very much appreciated.
It was a pleasure. Thank you everyone for being here, and hopefully we will encounter paths again in another event.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Pam. And I can't speak for everyone when I say that this was definitely a wonderful presentation. I'll bid everyone good night, but before that, we'll just note on the screen, our next meetings will be, got a novice meeting coming up on August 1st, and next general meeting will be on Friday, August 2nd. For further details on that and everything regarding our club, please visit us at astronomyhouston.org, and you can also visit us on the socials, information on the screen. And so with that, I will say have a pleasant evening and clear skies to all. Good night.